Good morning, beautiful people of the world. Good morning. Today is August 7th, 2025. How you guys doing on this Thursday morning? This throwback Thursday morning. It is a throwback kind of a day. It's Throwback Thursday, y'all. Throwback Thursday. So what's your throwback memory? If you want to write it down below, please feel free. Since we can't upload pictures here, we just do a throwback memory. I hope you all have had a good week, a blessed week. I just took my garbage out. I was a little afraid. I was like, oh, I hope nothing come up out of these bushes. I had to get him to cut them weeds again. The joys of home ownership is always something that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? Always. Anyway, good morning, beautiful people of the world. Good morning to you. We are on day 4. We got one more down. We got 4 down, 1 more to go. And I be looking for Friday like a fat kid looking for cake. I'm not kidding, y'all. I'd be so glad when Friday gets here. And I will be glad when this Friday gets here as well. Even though I got to get up early Saturday and take Christopher to renew his passport. Yeah, so I got to do that for Saturday morning. I got to fill out the application today. So, yeah. It's never ending cycle. But I'm glad to be alive and well this morning. I was in the shower this morning just a few minutes ago. I always like to take my shower right before I leave the house. I don't know why. I just feel like my body is fresher. Don't ask me why. But anyway, so just a few minutes ago, I was in the shower, and I was thinking to myself. I said, I know so many people that are really going through when it comes to just, I don't know. Like I said yesterday on my live, I talked to my uncle. I asked you guys to send prayers. Just send your prayers. And I'm concerned. Trying not to cry, but I'm concerned. And then I talked to another friend, close friend, who told me some not so good news. And then, I still have my other 2 friends who are still battling cancer, and they give us updates, and their updates haven't been good. And I was thinking about this other guy that I wasn't friends with him, but a guy that I worked with here that I was dating, he was good friends with him. And I was just thinking about him because he suffers from diabetes, and he's had so many amputations, and now he's blind. And we're the same age. He might be 56, 57, but I'm pretty sure we're right around the same age. And I'm just like, wow, And so, having said that to you all, about them, I was just in the shower this morning, and I just began to thank God and to praise God for health, for just being healthy. I may not have every bill paid on time. I may not have everything that I want, everything that I desire. I may not have the man that I wanted or loved in my life. I may not, have the fanciest car. I may not have all the riches in the world. I may not have lost any weight this week. I may not have the body that I had 13 years ago when I was a lot smaller and more sexier. But I just thank God for what I do have. I just thank God for my health and my strength. I just thank him and praise him for being good to me in all that he has done and all that he will do. I just began to praise him and just said, I just was in the shower, washing my body and saying, Lord, I just thank you that I'm able to do this and I don't need nobody to help me. Lord, I just thank you that I'm able to brush my teeth and wash my face and comb my hair and put on my makeup. And Lord, I just thank you. I just thank you. I just thank you because, Lord, I just thank you. I just thank you. I just thank you because you're just so good to me. You're just so good to me. And I'm not saying other people that are going through, God has not blessed them, or that God isn't blessing them. I know he has. I'm a living witness to what he has done for these people. But I'm just grateful and I'm just thankful and I'm just humble to God that whatever it is or whatever it look like or whatever it may be, that he is still in the blessing business, and that he's going to heal every broken heart, and he's going to restore every unhealthy body, and he's a God of no failure. And I just, I could be a lot of places. You could be a lot of places. We could be not even on this app talking. We could be talking to each other through, you know what I'm saying? We could be talking to each other through a glass partitioner. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think about Sammy, and I'm still praying for Sammy. I got to call him to see how he's doing. He tries his best to be as uplifting as he possibly can be. And, he's such a sweetheart. He's such a good man. And I'm just asking God to, he's come a long way from when he fell. He's come a long, long way. Of course, he has more work to do to get back to himself, but he's improved a lot, and that's a blessing in itself. It's just so many people that are on my heart that are going through that I'm concerned about. And I'm not gonna say I'm not worried, but I'm concerned. I am concerned. And I'm a little scared, to be honest. So I just, my mind is just everywhere. And, you just waiting to hear. You're just waiting to hear the news of what is going to happen next. And that's why I say, and I'm going to say to you all, that you cannot continue to waste time with people who don't love you the way in which you want to be loved. Yesterday, Christopher and I was having an interesting conversation, and I thought about, when he was talking, I was thinking about myself. So I had to spit some truth to him, as I always try to do, because I try to keep Christopher leveled, and I try to keep Christopher self-esteem elevated to the highest, and I try to motivate him and encourage him. I realize he's in a weird age where he's still a little quirky and a little weird and a little nerdy, and he got some swag. He do have some swag. I'm gonna give him that. But I try to talk to Christopher in a way to make him understand that don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself some grace. So he said something to me that I thought was interesting and funny, but speaking his truth. Because just like I do over here with you all, and I do Truthful Tuesday, I do it with him too. Although Christopher speaks a lot of truth all of the time, we have that type of relationship that I have left the door open for him to come and be able to talk to me about anything. I don't care what it is. He can come and tell me that something is hurting him. Like one time he told me that, something was hurting him in his private area. And I was like, well, let me see. And he was like, no. And I think he had pulled a growing muscle or something. Something was playing basketball or something. Even though he'll pop in my room naked all the time. And I'm like, would you go put some clothes on, please? But he said something to me yesterday, and it's something that I have said to myself, as I can relate to what he said. He said, I don't understand why I don't have a girlfriend as cute as I am. And I could not stop laughing because it was the way in which he said it. And he was like, why are you laughing? And I said, it's just the way you said it. And I said, I feel you, bro. I said, I feel you. I said, I feel you. And he was just laughing. And he was like, I'm just saying. He was like, I'm fine. I'm handsome. I'm gorgeous. He was so, and it's good that he feels that way about himself, not in a conceited, condescending, braggadocious way. But I know that that's partly because I always tell him how cute he is. I always tell him how handsome he is. I'm always telling him that he's a king, and you gotta walk like a king. You gotta act like a king. You gotta, I said, kings come with royalty. You got royalty in you. You got, So when he said that, I could not stop laughing because it was so funny to me. And he said, I said, hey, bro, I feel you. I said, because that's how I feel about me. I said, I feel like I'm fine as hell. And I don't have no boyfriend. And he said, but the difference is it don't bother you. I said, Chris, it don't bother me because I've already done or did all of that you want to do. I've already did it. He said, well, you don't want no man ever. He said, so you good with that? You good with that? You good with not having no man? And I said, yeah, I am. And he said, what? He said, so for the rest of your life, for the rest of your life, you don't want no man? I said, Chris, I said, if I sit here, I said, first of all, I said, I'm not finna tell you my 17-year-old my business like that. I said, but if I sit you down and I told you all the things that I've gone through with men, I said, you would understand. He said, well, I do know the ones since I've been present. He said, I don't know what you did before I got here. He said, but the ones that I've been present for, he said, I know that they have hurt you. He said, and the last one, meaning the ex-friend. And he said, I don't get it. He said, I don't get it. He said, I feel like I was born at the wrong time, in the wrong era. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, because, he said, all your friends are fine. All your friends are gorgeous. He said, and y'all all single. He said, I don't understand it. He said, I don't get it. And I said, well, I don't know. I said, I don't know. I feel you on that too. I said, because I feel like I was born in the wrong time too, because the men that I date or like, they don't act like my daddy acted. I'm not saying my father was perfect, but he took care of his family. You know what I mean? He took care of his family. He took care of his wife. My father never asked my mama what you bringing to the table. In fact, when they got married, I know she had a job, but I know she went back to school, and he worked, and then she, you know, I don't know. These new men, they different. What you bringing to the table? I was talking to my supervisor about that yesterday. He was like, if a man asks you, this is what my supervisor said. He said, if a man asks you what you bringing to the table, he said, that means he can't afford to take care of you. He said, it's obvious that if you meet a woman and she has a job, you know she's going to be the contributing factor. He said, but the man is the head of the house, and he's supposed to be the provider, and you all are a helpmate, the helpmate. I said, I know. I said, but these men want you to go half, straight down the middle on everything. I'm not. I'm just not. I'm not doing it. You know, I don't care what men say or think about me, but I'm not going half on my mortgage. I'm not. So therefore, we don't need to get married. We don't need to get married. I don't want to get married, because I don't want nobody trying to take what I've worked hard to accomplish, which is my house. I'm not putting your name on my house or a man's name on my house. I'm not, when we divorce, I don't want you to have access to anything. People say, oh, don't go in and thinking that you're going to get divorced. The probability of people staying in marriages is not very high. And that's just a fact. So I want to keep what I got, you know. So I don't want to get married. We can be in love. We can care for one another. Stay over there. And I'm going to stay over here. And that's just the way I want it to be. I don't need to, I want you to come over and fix some stuff that I need fixing. I want you to come over and, you know, we cook and we eat, and, you know, I don't have a problem cooking for you. I don't have a problem doing things for you and you do things for me. But I do not want your hand in marriage. I am so good with not getting married. And I never ever thought I would feel that way, because I've always wanted to be married. Well, not always. When I was younger, I had said I didn't want to get married. I said that a lot. But as I got older, I did have the desire to get married. And I think marriage and weddings are beautiful, but it ain't for me. Not at this age. I got too much to lose, and I'm not willing to lose it over a man. I want a man for sex and companionship, and to go out and have a good time, and to do things with, be in my corner and I'm in his. But I want your ass to go the fuck home at the end of the day. Go home. Goodbye. Come back next week. I don't need nobody to be with me 7 days a week. I don't need nobody. I don't like no clingy ass man. I don't like no clingy ass friend. Find you something to do. I don't like nobody that's so involved with everything I'm doing. I don't like somebody who just watches every little thing I'm doing. I can't breathe as soon as I post. Oh, you know, I don't like that. As much as I love people, and want to I can't see shit over here. As much as I love people and I like being around people, that's how much I like being alone. I don't like people to go on and on and on and on and on. It's like, come on, would you get to the motherfucking point? I don't have time to keep reading all of this shit, or you not get. That's why it annoys me when people on the live say, "Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you something?" Just fucking ask it. When I tell you that shit is so goddamn annoying, I can't stand that. I cannot stand that shit. Let me go punch. I'll be back. I can't stand that. I can't stand people to say, "Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you something?" Just ask the goddamn question. When I tell you that annoys the fuck out of me, I can't stand that. I can't stand people to say, "Well, you know, I wanted to ask." Just ask me. Just ask whatever it is that you want to ask. Just ask it. some people, I got a lot of friends that do that to me. When I tell you I ignore their texts or I'll just wait to answer, it's just like, it's draining. You know what I'm saying? It's just draining. So I said all that to say, I don't want to be, I like to be alone. I don't want somebody who is constantly, you know, clingy to me. I want you to be into me, and I want you to want to be around me, but I don't want you to be to the point where, you know, to the point where I can't breathe. You know, I don't talk on the phone a lot in the evening. I do, but I don't. But I have a lot of, just like I had somebody recently wanted to ask me something about working here. And they wanted to ask me a question. And same thing. Hey, when you get a moment, I want to ask you a question. Just, what is it? Just ask me the question. You know, just what is it that you want? And then the question that they asked me, I couldn't even answer it because I wasn't able to give them an answer, you know? So it was like, you wasted my time for this, you know? And it's just, I mean, it's just, I guess I said all that to say, I love people. I love being around people, and I love having a good time with people. But then I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to just be with me. So I don't need to have somebody constantly around me. Now, if I was married, you know, if I got married and I was married, then, you know, it is what it is. But, you know, I like to watch what I want to watch on TV. Christopher will come in. He'll see me watching something. He wants to talk. He wants to show me all these videos. And after a while, he knows, okay, I'm going to leave her alone. Let her go watch what she want to watch, you know. Because he showed me the same thing over and over again. So I had to tell him, I said, Chris, you had showed me this video 20 times. I don't want to keep seeing this. Some stuff that he watched, I refuse to look at, and I have told him to stop looking at it. I said, this shit is depressing. Find something else to watch. I've had to tell him, you know, to just stop. You know, to just stop. I said, you need to feed your spirit with some positive things, you know. Somebody leaving me a comment. And that's just how I, you know, that's just how I feel, you know. So, you know, I don't know. I just feel that, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes, you know, I guess what I'm saying is that I can't be with somebody who just needs so much of me, too much of me. I can't stand somebody who, I can't breathe because you just always on me. You know, you just always on me. You know, I don't want to be with a man who don't have no friends. I don't want to be with a man who don't have no hobbies. I don't want to be with a man who don't do other things but just want to be with me. No, you find you something to do. That's too much. That's too much. I was talking to Passion for Fashion, and through email, and she was saying to me, she said, stop being an Aquarius. She said, you know I know you. Because we were talking about something. I'll tell y'all about it later. But she just a real sweetheart, you know. She's just a real sweetheart. And so she just was saying some stuff, and you know, other Aquarius know other Aquarius, you know. most of us, and I'm not a person that's really into zodiac signs like that, but I will say this. I do believe that some of it is valid and some of it is true. And I definitely am a person who I'm a loner. People think that I'm not. And my mother said, "You're not a loner. You're a people person." I said, "Mama, I am." But, you know, I'm a people person to a certain extent. I'm going to say this. When I was younger, I was really a people person. As I've gotten older, not so much. Because I've learned how people are. And when you learn how people are, it makes you become a loner. Because you don't want to deal with people. You learn how people are. You find out how people are. You find out that people really ain't for you. You know. I just want a man to have other things going on in his life other than me. I want us to be together when we together. I want us to have a good time when we are having a good time. But I don't want you to be clingy to me to the point that I can't do what I want to do. And I was telling y'all on the live yesterday, I was talking about that to a coworker here. And I was saying, I don't want to be submissive. And he started laughing. I said, I can be, but I don't want to be. That whole control thing, no. Telling me what I can and cannot wear. Because Christopher and I was having a conversation about that. And we were talking about that. And he was saying, you know, he was like, I was telling him, you know, I said, when you get in a relationship with somebody, I said, please don't try to control her and don't allow her to control you. You all are two separate individuals who have things in common and like each other. I said, but all that trying to control a person, I said, I'm telling you, that ain't gonna work. Because Christopher was saying, well, what if, you know, she have on an outfit and I don't like the outfit and I tell her to go back in the house and change. I said, Chris, you really can't tell her that. You really can't tell a grown woman that. I said, what you can do is say, hey, babe, you know, I ain't really digging that, you know, and would you mind changing that? It would just make me feel more comfortable. I said, that's how you do that. You don't be like, look, take your motherfucking ass in the house. You ain't wearing that shit with me. Where the fuck you think you going with that shit on? That ain't gonna go. That's gonna go left, you know. And I said, you gotta know what type of woman you dealing with. I said, see, this is the problem. You men wanna look at a slutty woman and look at a slutty woman and get with a slutty woman and then make a slutty woman your woman and then want her to change her uniform just because she got a new position with you. That ain't how that works. That's not how that works. So I told him. I said, that's how you do that. I said, you have to ask her, not tell her, not demand, not call yourself being a dictator, because that's a grown woman. I said, but if you got the type of woman that's of some class, she ain't gonna come out the house with slutty shit on no way. You know what I'm saying? But if you dealing with a woman who ain't got that much class, I say you should know what type of woman you dealing with. Same way with women. You should know what type of man you dealing with. You know, don't ask the person to change the uniform just because they got a new position and it's you. You knew she dressed like that when you started talking to her. That's why you went up to her and started talking to her. I saw a lady yesterday. Oh my God. She was an African American woman. She was a thick woman like me. And she had on some Daisy Duke shorts. Had this baby on her hip. And all of her ass was out. She had big thighs. I was just like, where you going with that on? Well, you already out here, so I guess you're going where you at. But I'm like, I'm watching them put this pole on this truck. But I was like, okay. Like, alrighty. I guess, I don't know. I don't understand it. I mean, all her ass. All. Not a little bit of ass. All her ass was hanging out. And she didn't have no little ass. She had a big ass. Big ass, big thighs. That's why you can't keep a car clean here. That's why we can't keep a car clean. He just bagged this thing up, and all this freaking fracking dust blew back. And the other thing I wanted to tell y'all that I'm pissed about is that Shein has not honored my stolen package and is not going to send me the items that were stolen. And the carrier sent me an email saying they called their carrier, the guy who delivered, and he showed proof, which it was on the porch. And they were like, we suggest you contact the seller and tell him what happened to your package. So I'm on the fence if I want to buy these items again. I don't know. I wanted to do a haul for you all, and I'm pissed. And the other thing is that, and Angel, if you're watching this video, I saw your email asking me for the email address to Shein to write the letter for me. But my other question is, Tori, Meadow, Brenda, and Alyssa, 4 people wrote a letter to Shein. And my question is to you all that wrote the letter, have y'all heard anything from them? Have they gotten back to you all in regards to what you all wrote about me and the channel? Because ain't nobody reached out to me and said nothing. Nothing. And I know they probably got I'm not saying that, I'm sure they got a lot going on with this, that, or the other. But I know they reached out to Meadow and asked him for more information. And I don't know, he hasn't said anything, so I don't know if he's still waiting on a reply or whatever. But I just find it interesting that they haven't said anything. So I'm going to ask you all, because the items that I bought, that I wanted to show you all, I'm going to ask you all. I'm not asking you all for money to replace the items. I'm just going to ask you all your opinion. Do you think I should reorder these items or just not order these items? I mean, to be honest with y'all, it ain't nothing that I really, really need. It was just something that I wanted. It was something that I wanted. I wanted some certain things for my cruise. Do I need them? No. Do I need them? No, I don't. But I'm on the fence about reordering them. Because they're not, my package is, my package is gone. And so I'm just on the fence about, I'm just on the fence about it. That's all. So y'all let me know what y'all think before I order them. They're in my cart. I was able to find them. I was able to find everything except one item, which I think has sold out because I can't find it. I've searched and searched the site and I cannot find them. So I think it's gone. So I'm a little upset that I'm not going to get my items back that were stolen. So, Passion for Fashion was so sweet and kind. She bought Christopher those 2 jogging suits that he wanted. And that's why she told me to stop acting like an Aquarius, because I initially told her no. I was like, he don't need them right now. And they weren't expensive, but he wanted these 2 jogging suits. One is in black and one is in gray. And she was so kind that she bought them for him. So I told her, don't send it to me. I had her send it to my mom's address. And I hate to do that. I hate to use my mother's address because, I know I trust Passion, but I'm just saying, I need to get me a P.O. box. I really, really do. I need to get me a P.O. box. I just don't know how much it costs. But when I go to the post office Saturday with Christopher, I'm going to ask the lady, how much does it cost to get a P.O. box? And if you guys ever want to send me anything, you all can always send it to my P.O. box. Because, my mother is home most of the day anyway to get my packages or whatever. But I don't want to put that, I don't want to give my mother's address to, like, different people that want to bless me with gifts or whatever you all want to bless me with. And there was a young lady, her initials are C. It's not CC like CECE, but it's CC, like 2 C's. She cashed at me $20 the other day. And what I did was I sent it to Christopher has a Cash App now. And I sent it to I opened up him a Cash App. And I sent it to him because when I was going through the thing with the insufficient funds, he had money in his account. And somebody had sent me some money and I wanted to send it to his account. So I need to put some money over to his account to bring his account up because it's low right now. So I'm gonna do that and put $100 over his account. So, I said all that to say that, I'm pissed. I'm so pissed about my freaking package. And it was like $200 I spent on those items. And I did it on Afterpay. I still got to pay the Afterpay fee, and I don't have the items. I'm not willing to spend another $200 on some clothes. That's $400 twice that I'll be spending. So what I said I was gonna do, I said I'm just gonna get, I'm gonna take some of this. I'm gonna take what I initially wanted to get. I'm gonna take some of those items off, and so that I can lower the amount, because I'm gonna pay for them again through either Afterpay or PayPal. But I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be a big haul because I don't want to have to pay for this twice, you know. And I'm still, I'm done. I got one more payment to pay on what I bought that got stolen, and I don't even have a freaking package. I'm just so damn pissed about that. Y'all just don't know. So, you know, money going down the drain. You know, I could have did something else with that $200. You know, I'm just so fucking pissed. Excuse my French, but I'm pissed. You know, it's just, you just feel like sometimes it's like, you know, you got so many people in the world that's so dishonest that, you know, will still stank off of shit. You know how you come up on my porch and steal my fucking package? And then, let me tell y'all this. So, let me tell you what ADT did to me. I've been meaning to tell you all this. Saw the sun over here. Let's see if I can block that. Let me tell y'all what my ADT security provider did to me. So, I had called them because remember I told y'all my Ring doorbell camera did not work. Remember I told you all that? And so it didn't pick up the person coming up on my porch taking my package. So I called them, made a big fuss about that, was like, you know, the camera didn't pick it up, blah, 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 blah. So I had asked them to give me, what I said to them was, I said, I don't feel like I should have to pay this bill for this month. And it didn't do what it needed to do. So I had my payments set up on auto pay, that they would take the payment every month, the $64, out of my checking account every month. My bill is due on the 2nd of the month. So when I called and talked to the lady, she was going on and on talking about, oh, well, ma'am, I don't think I can do that. I mean, I can only take so much off of how much you pay for the Ring camera service. I said, she was only talking about $9. I said, if you don't stop playing with me, I said, don't tell me what you can't do. Tell me that you don't want to do it. I said, there's a difference. I said, you don't want to do it. No. That's not it. That's not it. It's not that I don't want to do it. Anyway, I went off so badly on her that what she did was she had me on hold for a minute. And so when she came back, I was still ramped up. I said, my package is gone. And I'm paying you all $64 a month and my shit gets stolen and I can't even see who stole it. So, okay, so she comes back and she says, you know, I'm sorry. She's apologizing. I said, well, what are you all going to do for me? So, you know, I told you all they had me on the phone. They was trying to connect me to this extent. All of that, it was a waste of time. Okay, it was just a waste of time. So she comes back because I gave her such a hard time, and I gave her a hard time on purpose, because there's no way you're gonna tell me that I'm paying this amount and my package is gone. So I'm paying you. I'm paying for a package that I don't have. What she ended up doing was lowering my monthly amount from that $64 to $59 a month, right? So, why did I look into my account on the 2nd of August? And these MFers took 2 payments out of my checking account. Now, you know it was already severely overdrawn, okay? So that made the amount go up even more. So they took the $64 and the $59 that she said she was lowering. Baby, I was hot like excuse me, I was hot like a firecracker. Just so y'all know, water challenge. Got my water. Tomorrow, got my water. I got on the phone Monday and I went in. I said, how did you all charge me $64 and $59? 2 charges. I said it should have been $59, not $64 and $59. So the guy tells me that they took August and September. I said, oh, you bullshitting me? I said, I didn't authorize for you to take 2 payments. I said, refund me my motherfucking money. So he said, and I didn't say it like that. I didn't use that word, but I used some words. And I didn't cuss, y'all. You would be proud of me. I didn't cuss. I'm cussing to y'all, but I didn't cuss to him. But I used some choice words that he knew I was not playing with him. See, I know how to be professional. I'm not ghetto all the time. But I said to him, I said, you're gonna refund me. So he said, well, I can either refund you or you won't have to owe for September. I said, no. I said, because you know what? I don't trust you all anymore. When September comes, you'll do the same thing. You'll take September and October. I said, no. Run me my $59. I said, and I will pay you all when I want to pay the bill. I said, run me my money and take me off of auto pay right now. And this is exactly why. Hold on, y'all. I got to blow in my boyfriend. I have to blow my boyfriend, this driver, a kiss every morning when they drive by. That's who I be blowing a kiss to. He's supposed to retire. I think he said he don't leave until November. And the guy, Fred, who I always talk to, the lineman, he sits behind him, and every time I blow him a kiss, he be like, oh. And he doing like this, like, go hit him. So that's what that be about when y'all see me do that. He a really nice man. But anyway, he love him some CC, baby. A lot of them in here do. I ain't bragging. I'm just telling y'all the truth. A lot of these men love them some CC. When I couldn't get that license plate thing on, let me tell you. Let me tell y'all women something. Don't tell me what a man won't do. I had so many of them talking about, what, you need me? I'll do it. Men do what they want to do for who they like. He don't like you if he don't want to do nothing for you. He don't like you. I'm just... Woo! Keep that in mind. Anyway, so I told them, I said, take me off of auto pay right now. I said, no, take me off of auto pay. I said, you know what? I said, because you all can be trusted. Because I didn't tell you all to take this payment twice. So they took me off of auto pay. And I told them, you'll get it when you get it. You will get it when you get it. I'm like, how dare you take my money? Who are you to take my money? I said, I didn't factor that in. And then check this. Toyota took my mother's car payment twice. She was hot as hell. Same thing. So I said this to say to y'all, check your checking account every day. I remember I used to work with this driver that worked on a garbage truck. I never forget. I thought he was so strange. Not that he was strange. I used to always say to him, Stroker, why are you so paranoid about your money in your checking account? And he used to always tell me. He used to say, listen here, young lady. He was a lot older than me. He was a white man. He's been retired for a while. He said, let me tell you something. He said, I don't trust banks. He said, I don't trust nobody with my money. He said, if I can have all my money in my house, because he said he had like 2 savings and he had IRA account and a checking account. Every day when I would get in the garbage truck with him, I worked with him on Wednesday. This is before they started making you work with the same driver, same labor every day. Every Wednesday, he would be on his phone looking at his checking account. Every day he would go to the bank. If we took break over by the bank, his bank, he would go up in that bank and go over there and I guess ask them, about his checking account. He was always looking at his account. And I couldn't understand that, but I understand it now. He told me, he said, every day you get up, he said from Sunday to Sunday, he said, look at your checking account and look at your transactions. He said, keep up with that. He said, it's people out here that's sneaky. He said, I don't trust the people that work in the bank. He said, I don't trust the bill collectors. He said, they'll take 2 payments. And my hand to God, this man never lied. So when my mother told me they took 2 car payments, it made me think of him. When I went in to see that they took 2 payments out of my ADT security, made me think of him. And so when he told me that years ago about he said, don't you go a day without looking at into your checking account. He said, because they anticipate that people are only going to look in their checking account when they get their payroll check. He said, no, look in your checking account every day. And when I tell you, I look at my checking account every day now, Sunday to Sunday. And I go under the details of my transactions. I look to see what's pending and what has been paid. And that's how I caught that bullshit with ADT. Had I didn't look every day and then look at I look and see how much is there, how much ain't gonna be there, and then I look under the details to see what's, the transactions. I don't care if I went to Dollar Tree and I used my card. And it's a shame that you gotta do that now, but you got to, because it's so many scams. And then I saw on TikTok where this lady was just crying. Oh, I felt so bad for her. She got scammed out of her TikTok account. Somebody told her that somebody could help her do something, get more views or more something. I don't remember what it was. And this guy said he would help her, and he stole her TikTok account. And she had all these followers, and she had just gotten to the TikTok creative program. You have to be careful who you dealing with. People will sit here and act like they for you, and they not. And I'm just not that trustworthy of people. I really, really am not. I know my mother was asking me, she said, be careful when you on YouTube. And she said, I know you've bonded with a lot of people on YouTube and you've become friends with a lot of people. She said, but be careful. She said, because, one thing, and which is true, I don't want somebody over here obsessed, or really love me or like me in an unhealthy way. So you got to be careful. You just got to, you really, and she tells me that, she was telling me that. And I say, yeah, I said, because, people are just, you know, people are strange. They just strange. So just be careful with your account. Be careful. Make sure you pay attention to what's coming out, what's coming in. Be careful. Just be careful. When you go to pump your gas, if it has, for those of you that drive, when you go to the gas pump and I don't never put my PIN number in the gas. I bypass PIN all the time. I never do that. When you put your card in, or now, what I was doing, I was tapping my card, right? I was using the little tap. Well, when you tap your card at the gas pump, then it wants you to put your PIN in. No, I don't want to do that. So if I can't tap it and just do that and get my gas, then I'll just keep putting it, because they had those little things that was those little card readers that will steal your information. So when you put your card in, make sure that you're not leaving that card in. When it said remove card, grab it quickly. It's just a shame, the shit we gotta go through, but you got to be careful. You got to be. I went purple lipstick today. You got to be careful, because it's too much stuff going on. Just please be careful. Everybody that act like they for you and not for you. You can be careful about people being obsessed with you. Be careful with people, with people, every time you say or do something on these social media apps, they the first ones to respond. They the first ones to comment. They always like on you. Be careful. Be careful, because you do have people that do stalk. Be careful. And be careful with your money. I don't do auto pay with nothing other than that. And I'm done with them. I'm done. I told them, I said, that's what I get for trusting you all. And you all did this. And then he telling me something about the system. I told myself, and I did say this, I said, I don't give a fuck about your system. I give a fuck about my checking account being on an overdraft because you all took 2 payments. I don't care a rat's ass about your system. I don't care. I said, I didn't authorize that, and you all had no right to do that. Just like Toyota with my mama. Same thing. And guess what? When you call to complain or call to let them know what happened, she couldn't even get through to nobody, because everything is automatic. Everything is generated. You know what I'm saying? I told her, I said, what you going to have to do is you're going to have to send an email. That's the only way you're going to get a response, because now you can't even get a live person on the phone to talk to so you could tell them when some shit had happened. You can't even get a live person. And if you do get a live person, they all the way over in Pakistan, and you don't understand what the fuck they saying. I have to ask them, would you please speak slowly? Can you please speak more clearly? I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what they're saying. All the jobs are outsourced in all these different countries, and you get somebody on the phone and you don't know what the man who I was talking to Thursday, I don't know what he was saying. Something I really don't know what all he was even saying, because it just sounded like gibberish. But he knew when I told him that he was on some bullshit. Give me my damn money. Playing with me. Don't play with me. I mean that. Like people got money to just be giving people extra money. Ain't nobody got no extra money to give nobody. My mama, she was pissed. I said, you should be. Because I would be. Took it twice. I told her, I said, well, if they had it, I said, they had it took mine twice, it would have came back. Because the man show would have bounced. Just be careful, you all. Just be careful. I'm joking and I'm playing with you all, but be careful. Please be careful. You know, they try to act like stuff is secure. This is secure and that is secure, and it's really not. It's really not. Well, you guys, I'm going to let you all go. I thank you all so much for watching another video. Thank you all for participating all the time. Thank you for participating in my live streams. Thank you all for liking and commenting, sharing, subscribing. I really, really appreciate you all. I'm going to try to come back on live tomorrow. I might come back on the day, but I got a doctor's appointment. So it just depends. But if not, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? So have a great, blessed day. And I'll see you when I see you. All right. Bye.